Hi, Math 96. Please make sure your work is uploaded to the digital workbook every day as you complete the assignments. Chapter 2 notes will be due this Friday. Please be on page 22 of your note-taking guide. We're going to discuss the slope of a line. You can hit pause here, write down the essential question on the top of page 22. What are the different ways to calculate the slope of a line? You have homework tonight out of the textbook, page 101, 23 through 26, plus number 50 and 52. And those homework problems will appear on your screen at the end of this recording. Okay, so we're going to talk about parts of a line. Today is about slope formula and the slope of a line. So the slope formula is an actual formula that you need to know how to use. So it starts with m equals, because m stands for the word slope. So that's what m is. It stands for the word slope. And it's the changes in y's over the changes in x, and that you get from 2 points. So here's 2 points, xy and xy. It's just that this little 1 means it's set 1 of points, and this is the second set of points. So we use those little numbers just to say this is the first set of points and this is the second set of points. Okay, and these words slope-intercept form stand for y equals mx plus b. That's the standard way that we're writing our equations in this section. So m represents the slope of the line, and b represents the y-intercept of the line. And the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. Okay, there's different ways to represent slope. This is the fancy way, the changes in y's over the changes in x. So that delta symbol just stands for the words changes. If you're going into science classes in college, they will use that for notation a lot. A lot of people call it the rise over the run, and up and over, and then up and then over, right? If it's a negative number, it would be fall and run, down and over. So this little image is Mr. Slope Guy. So he has everything you need to know to describe the slope of a line. So there's different types of slopes of a line. So you can have a positive slope. You can have a negative slope. You can have an undefined slope. And you can have a zero slope. So when you have a positive slope, your m number is equal to a positive number. And Mr. Slope Guy will help you with that. So when you look at a line, you always look to the arrow on the right. And as you can see here, a line that points up is a slope with a positive number. So his I is a positive. So you're not looking at the left arrow on a line, you're always looking to the right. So this is the right arrow right here. This is the arrow on the right for this line. And this arrow is pointing down, and his I is indicating a negative number. So your m would be equal to a negative. An undefined slope is right here. And that's when you have a completely vertical. And so his nose is reminding you that the word is undefined. So when you would answer this, you would put m is equal to undefined. And I'll show you the math behind that in a minute. And when you have a horizontal, completely flat line, his little cheeks are reminding you that the slope is 0. So m would be equal to 0. So you either have a positive number, negative number, a 0, or an undefined. So what is the math behind undefined? That is when you have m equal to a number over 0, because you cannot divide by 0. On the other hand, m is equal to 0 is when you have m is equal to 0 over a number, then that reduces to just 0. And this one reduces to undefined. You cannot divide by 0, so that's why we call that undefined. You can't divide an item by nothing, right? Okay, so remember Mr. Slope Guy, you might want to do this. Let's see. So this is positive, this is negative, this one's undefined, and this one's 0. So you might want to annotate Mr. Slope Guy with those words. You can always hit pause. Okay, so you have homework like this tonight. You just don't have to graph it on the homework, but you are going to have to determine the slope and the y-intercept of the line. Oops, sorry about that. So step 1, solve for y. So we're going to solve this. We're going to move the 5x over, so we're going to subtract 5x to both sides. And that cancels. 10y is equal to, bring down the x item first, then the number, so it's a positive 40, so plus 40. Now you're going to divide out. Boy, this is tricky today. We're going to divide out the 10. Make sure you divide each item by 10. So y would be equal to, what is that number? Negative 5 over 10. Divide out a 5. Hold on. There we go. Divide out 5. That would be negative 1/2. I get a lot of students who will say negative 5 over 10 is negative 2. It's not. It's negative 1/2. And 40 divided by 10 is 4. You can always use the calculator for that fraction as well. Okay, so once you have y equals mx plus b, this is what you're going to do for tonight's homework. You're going to tell me that the m is negative 1/2 because it's positional. It's the number in front of x. And the y-intercept is equal to 4 because b is the y-intercept, right? So b is worth 4. So this would be your homework for tonight. Solve and then tell me what m and the y-intercept is. Now to graph that, you begin at the back number. So you begin at the y-intercept. And remember, you're on the y-axis. So you're going to go to the middle, the origin, and up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make a big dot. You always, for this type of graphing, start on the up-down y-axis. And then m stands for how you're going to move. So this says to go negative 1/2. So down 1, because it's negative, over 2. Down 1, over 2. Down 1, over 2. So go back to your 4, the dot at 4. Count down 1 box, over 2 boxes. Down 1, over 2. Do it again. Down 1, over 2. Down 1 box, over 2. Always run to the right, no matter what. So the over 2 always goes to your right side. And then remember, lines are straight and lines are long. Please do not make a short line. You need to be having your line go across the whole grid. That's very important for the next chapter that we're doing. And then arrows on both ends. Yours will be much straighter because you have a straight edge at home. Okay, moving on. You can always hit pause to finish your notes here. Okay, the next one is to calculate the slope given points. So the first thing you need to do, and this is the first 4 homework problems tonight, is to write down the slope formula. And we'll need that for both of these. And then you can label these x, y, set 1, set 2, right? Same over here, x, y, and this is set 1, and this is set 2. And then we're just going to use the formula. Excuse Excuse me. Okay, out of everything that I show you, this is going to be the most important step of this formula. This minus sign right here, always put it in first in your formula. If you do that, and trust me, I've been teaching this for many years, this is the safest way for students to get the correct answer when we're dealing with negative points. And we'll be doing that over here in example 3. So this formula's subtract or minus sign is not any part of a number's negative. And a lot of times students will pick it up as a negative, and it's not. It's a subtract that comes from this formula. It must be over in your problem. So now we're going to come up with 4 numbers that go here, and then we'll do the math. And those 4 numbers are just read off from the formula that were given at the very beginning. So I'm going to erase my question marks with little dots there. Okay, so you put the Y2 number first, so that would be the number 8. And then you're going to put the Y1 number, which would be a 9. On the bottom, you're going to put the X sub 2 number, which is a 12. And then you put the X1 number, which is a 4. And then you do the math. So your slope is equal to 8 minus 9, it's negative 1. 12 minus 4 is 8. Is 8. And you're done. That's the slope. So you have 4 of these problems for homework tonight. It's the first 4 of your homework. Okay, let's do it again. Y sub 2 number is a negative 14. The next number is Y1, which is a 16. Bottom number is an X2, which is a 10. And the last number is X1, and be careful here, it's negative 5. So what happens right here when you have a negative negative? That's the little tricky part of the slope formula. So let's do the top first. What's negative 14 minus 16 more? It's negative 30. You can use a calculator on that. You would enter negative 14 minus 16. And on the bottom, 10 minus minus 5 becomes 10 plus 5. So a lot of times in middle school, they would say negative negative makes plus plus. So that becomes 10 plus 5, which is 15. And then what's a 30 divided by 15 is a 2, and you have a negative involved, so it's negative 2. You can hit pause here to finish up your notes. Okay, another way to find the slope of a line, because that's our essential questions, what are the different ways to calculate the slope of a line, is to put dots on a graph and count it out. Now you do have to be careful that you know what your scale is on your graphing. So if you notice here, this would be 100, right? 200, this would be 300, 500. So it's counting by how much? It's counting by hundreds. And you can pick any 2 points on the line where they cross in the crosshairs. So I'm going to show you all the dots you could pick. You could pick this one. You could pick this one. Pick this one. Pick this one. So you see how they go through the box of crosshairs there? They're not in the middle of the box. They're crossing at the crosshairs. So all of those dots would be fine to use. And we're just going to count it out. So let's just count from, let's just count from this dot to this dot. And that'll be the slope. So which way is this line pointing? It's pointing down. The right arrow means the slope is negative. So we better get a negative answer because the arrow on the right, not this arrow on the left, the arrow on the right is pointing down, so it's going to be a negative answer. So if that means it's negative, that means our slope, when we count it, we go down and over, right? So you put your pen at the beginning spot. I'm making it really big right now. We count down 1 box and then go over 2 boxes. Again, counting down 1 box and then over 2 boxes. So how much is counting down 1 box worth? It's worth 100, right? Because each box, 600, 700, 800, the 600, 700, 800 is going down 100. So down 100. And then is each box down at the bottom in months worth 1? January to February to March to April to May to June, July. So it's 1 month. So counting down 100 and then over 2 boxes would give us a slope of negative 50. Because 100 divided by 2 is 50. So we got our negative number. This represents a bank balance. And it says bank balance going down by 50 every month. Well, yeah, you can see it's going down, right? So it went down, it went down, it went down. So his money is decreasing. Okay, let's see. Here's another one. They already have the 2 dots on there for you. So is your M going to be positive, negative, 0, or undefined? Where's the right arrow pointing? It's pointing up, so it'll be a positive answer. So that means we need to come over to this dot and count up and over, right? So how much do we go up? Looks like 1, 2 spots. So we go up 2. And how much do we go over to the right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 2 over 4. Whoops, 4. Oops. Up 2 over 4. Right? So up 1, up 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4. Does that reduce? Can you divide out 2's? That would be 1/2. So your answer to this is 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. You can also count it out as up 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, reduced would be 1 over 2. Okay, so slope measures the steepness of a line. Okay, here's your homework. You can go ahead and hit pause here so that you can copy down your homework. I put little hints here to use the slope formula for 23 through 26, and I put the formula there for you. On 50 to 56, you just have to get it into y equals mx plus b form. So I'm telling you on 54 and 56 right here, these two, you have to do it just like our notes and actually solve, right? So when you solve, be careful. There's a hidden 1 in front of this y. So please fill in the hidden 1 on the y, okay? These two, number 50 and 52, are already done. Can't you tell me what the slope and the y-intercept is? The slope is negative 2/5, and the y-intercept is 3, because you're using the idea of y equals mx plus b. So the first two, the answers are right there. M is negative 2/5, and the y-intercept is 3. Number 52, the M is 3, the y-intercept is negative 2. But on these two problems, you have to solve for y first. Okay, see you later.